Do you want to do mic check? You do. Hello. Oh, it's mic check with Phoebe.
Fine, it's day 8, and Chris is being a brat. It's probably because he hasn't had any snacks or anything in a while. Any treats, right?
That's right.
Right.
My treat water.
You and your treat water, that's true.
Yes.
But I don't know. Today I thought we'd talk a little bit about cravings. I know you talked about that a little bit yesterday, but I was thinking about what do you do like when you get a craving for something? Is it a wise idea to think of something healthy that you can substitute it with? Is it a good idea to ignore it? I think everybody, can treat the cravings for things completely differently. So I guess what I do is I'm in the ignore camp, and Chris is in the what yummy thing can I make that fits into my diet camp. So that's you. And because I find that a slippery slope for me. It might not be for you, and it might not be for other people. But if I'm doing this quote unquote challenge, I'm just not going to tempt myself with like we were contemplating making some like bread, but out of like pork rinds and egg and mayonnaise and all the things that we're actually eating. But for me, I think it's just that idea of like, bread, then I want some potato chips, then I want some, and then it just kind of spirals. And then I'm eating Twinkies.
Tell them about the Twinkie. What about the Twinkie?
So, or not, because I don't really like Twinkies, but you know what I mean. So it just spirals into sugar and other things.
Yeah.
So for me, I think I mentioned this before, but if I haven't, I can't remember what book this was. It may have been The Power of Habit, where they talked about how many days it takes for a habit to sort of be like solidified for you.
Forever.
And it's 66 days. I think it was in The Power of Habit. I'm not sure. But anyway. And so since we're doing this for 75 days, I'm thinking to myself, when I've reached that 75 days, maybe I'll just be a lot more mindful about things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've also found that ignoring it can work too. Going off and doing something else.
Yeah.
Go do one of your workouts if you're having a craving. Drink some water. I mean, these are all things that kind of, it doesn't satisfy it, but
well, talking about it
helps. Yeah, sure. Saying that you have one sometimes helps too. But I think that going and finding something new to make that fits in the diet is actually a good strategy, because now it expands your repertoire.
Yeah.
That you can make, and I think that it might introduce you to something new. We were talking about making waffles out of pork rinds to make like a bread. Sausage and egg sandwich.
Right.
In the morning, I'm making waffles.
And the recipe calls for pork rinds and eggs and
all things you can have.
All things that we can eat.
I understand that, but this is where some of this stuff is just, it's totally mental. And that's why I kind of like the challenge for that purpose, because I've set a diet for myself and you've set a diet for yourself, and mine is different than yours because we're different. And that's why I hate like a lot of diet type programs are like, well, you have to follow this, this, and this. And there'll always be those people who are like, well, you can have almonds. When we were doing keto, we were doing almonds and all this other stuff. And it's like, I can't eat almonds.
Yeah.
Cruciferous vegetables. Well, guess what cabbage and, cauliflower do to my stomach.
We don't need to talk about that.
I'm just saying. No, you don't want to talk about that. But it's not a one size fit all for everyone. And that's what bothers me. That's why I kind of like, because people know, instinctively after you've eaten something, do I feel good?
Yeah.
Or do I feel not good? So if it's good for you or not.
Listen to your body.
Yeah. So that was kind of my thing for today, because of the conversation we had this morning about You're like, oh, what's a bread? Which you're perfectly in your right to do. This is one of your things is like, if I don't do it, then you don't want to do it. And it's like, no, if you want to do it and it works for you, then you should do it.
Okay, well, I'm making waffles.
In the morning?
In the morning, I'm making waffles.
Okay. All right, but that was kind of my takeaway for today.
Awesome. All right. Thanks. Bye.